Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Cookie Tribe. And we are picking up right where we left off with the delicate Coco, our fragile flower, the princess of the Rosewater Cookie Tribe, sitting in this nest where she has been lounging all her life because she is the only sickly nicheling on the island, possibly getting ready to catch the eye of a certain, self-righteous marsh who is going to march over from the cookie tree to the Rosewater Cookie Tree and tell the Rosewaters what he thinks about the lazy way they are not clearing the grasses out around Mise's tree, and how they should honor the goddess Mish more, only to see such a beautiful pale-spotted nicheling with green eyes staring back at him, and hopefully having a baby with her before she dies, because unfortunately she is the sickly nicheling, and I do like thinking of her as the princess of the Rosewater tribe. But yes, as you can tell, we are diving straight back into it. If you need a refresher on what has been going on, do please watch the previous episodes. You can find a link to the playlist in the video description, and you can find a link to the wonderful rules and wiki in the video description as well. The wiki is beautiful and fantastic, and I am so grateful and proud to all of you who have worked so hard on it. So let's carry on. We're literally going to just carry on exactly where we left off. I don't think anyone is pregnant. Hazelnut has a day left to live. Let's see what happens. Dun dun dun. Now it's raining. Okay, we've got some fish over here. So we're gonna go ahead and let our Wanderer Cream actually fish. It's very peaceful on this island. There's not really any aggression. There's not really anybody new. Originally, I thought we would leave through this port, but I'm beginning to think we'll take a different port on our way out, just so that we have something a little more dramatic to look at when we are going to the next island and clearing it. Eventually, we're going to clear every single piece of grass on this island, after all. But for now, we are just going to continue establishing the 3 main cookie batches, because once we have them established, I have a feeling everything's going to go very quickly. Clearing the island, especially if Marsh has his way with things. But Anzac is continuing to search along the beaches, trying to figure out what is the right thing for him to do with his life. He's wandering across the grasses, occasionally glancing into the waters, the reflection that he sees, asking himself, why? Why? How? All of the deep questions that I'm sure we all hit at some point in our young adulthood. And he is trying to figure out how he can contribute to Mise in the cookie line, even though he just didn't feel that being overshadowed by his brother Macadamia and stepping aside as Macadamia became the patriarch of the tree, even though Anzac does have spots, they're just hard to see, was the right thing for him to do. So Anzac is going to continue carrying along, and hopefully he will bump into Blani pretty soon here. And Blani's having a good time, because she has finally managed to get herself over to this tree that she found after being lost in the grasses for oh so long. So she has popped out to a cookie tree. Not the cookie tree she was born under, but it'll do. It'll do for now. She's a pretty easygoing, laid-back nicheling after all. Meanwhile, over here, we have Walnut and Banana, and they are very busy kind of giggling at one another, clearing out the grass as they were asked to by Marsh and Hazelnut, gathering the occasional berry because it's yummy to eat, just kind of being playful. They don't really have a serious task assigned to them, unlike Macadamia, who is now preparing to take on the role of the patriarch of the tree, almost never leaving this tree again. He will be responsible for the well-being of the cookie line of the tribe, which is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 7 members. So it has become quite small, to be completely honest. Distressingly small. We can go up to 12 to 13 members before the tree can't really support anymore. So it's only half the size, like a little over half the size it could be. And so Macadamia is getting ready to take the role of patriarch from his father, Hazelnut. Hazelnut shall crack another nut and share it with his son in an offering of wisdom. And Hazelnut's lesson really is that he thought he would be young forever, and he wasn't. And somehow the tribe has become smaller than it was, and more fractured, and they have learned important lessons, especially from old Aunt Kumin, on how to raise young in healthy ways. And they have learned important lessons from Marsh on how to clear away all of the grasses so that they can better tend to the cookie tree and make sure that it's healthy and to honor the goddess Mies. But truly, time goes by too fast, son. Don't let it escape you. That is the lesson that Hazelnut shall leave behind. And he shall shake the tree, and we have only one nut to offer up. There we go. And meanwhile, Sugar Drop will go ahead. She is going to stay by Hazelnut's side as well. She'll try to do a little digging to tend to the grounds around the tree. Macadamia will gather up all these berries to offer his father. And they will stay by the patriarch's side during his final day. And then over here, we've got quite the mess of nichelings. Let me go ahead and make sure that Princelle is properly marked. Meanwhile, this tribe has grown to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's actually the same size as the main cookie tribe, which is quite dramatic if you think about the fact that it was formed by Rosewater and her brother defying the cookie tree, because Rosewater wanted to make sure that she could have a mate and have as big a family as she wanted, and she knew that the home tree just was not going to be big enough for her dreams. So she found a tree of her own. But she's going to perch in her nest. This is unfortunately her final day with us as well. Raisin is coming over and just kind of playing at her mother's feet. So is Princelle. And here we have Marsh, rushing forth to tell Rosewater, his sister, all about what he thinks about this behavior, not clearing away the grasses and making sure that there is enough of room around the cookie tree to take care of it and nurture it. I really think that they see the grass as competition for the health of the tree, after all. He's coming over, ready to really rip into her and tell her what for, give her a piece of his mind. And who does he see? But past his currently heavily pregnant and about to pass away, so be nice, Marsh, sister. But young Coco, the beautiful young Coco, who has been here in this nest her whole life, and shyly sneaks forward to get a better look at Marsh. And they smell amazing to each other, as you would expect cookies that are delicious to smell, because their immunity genes would actually match up to make healthy children. So this shall be an interesting mix of the two. Meanwhile, Lordon is busy helping his father, and Cyan, who does have quite the wild personality for this particular cookie line, will help eat those nuts too. He does love eating the nuts as well, after all. And Cran, there we go. Lordon, we'll go ahead and have you do a little bit of clearing now, because Cran will have his sons be helping him as soon as he can grab Princelle, be helping him clear the area out, all the better to see the tree and also their beautiful spots since this is the vain half of the tribe, after all. Alright, that should be everybody. Yeah, that's everybody. So we're going to have a new baby and Rosewater's final moments, and we're going to have Hazelnut's final moments. So thank you, Hazelnut. You started off as such a rambunctious and very kind of egotistical young man who just wanted to explore and do his own thing, but you were called back to the tree early on by your parents in order to find this spotted wandering mate that did join our tribe, and you have now at least expanded the tribe from from Lala and Tata to this. So this is good. We're in like our 3rd or 4th generation after the gods, and we at least have spots to pick from, which is very important. And back here, Rosewater, thank you so much for joining us. A moment of silence and a sip of tea, because we are going to lose one of the most charismatic nichelings. I did not expect such a vain, kind of self-centered nicheling to win me over as much as she did, but oh, she won me over. It was fantastic to see how she took fate in her own paws and made something that she wanted out of her life. Leaving the tree was a big deal. Finding a tree of her own was a big deal. Convincing her brother Cran to come and begin a family with her was a big deal. And leaving behind such a great legacy, I will always remember you, Rosewater, and thus this particular line shall always bear the name of the Rosewater Cookies. So, rest in peace, Rosewater. Rest in peace, Hazelnut. Oh! He's barely got any spots! Oh my gosh, he's like Anzac! Okay, I think that the order of attention would go Princelle, Lordon, and now I guess we'll have, kind I mean, Earl T doesn't really work because he's so small, but let's actually name him Earl T. Because I think an earl is under a lord and a lord is under a prince. But we're going to name him Earl T, even though he is an all-white nicheling. And we'll name him Earl T after, like, Earl T cookies. And I feel so bad for him. He was literally born, and we might say, in fact, we'll go poetic with it, because the Rosewaters in particular are a very poetic line. But for Earl T, perhaps he was born without any spots, because the grief of being born as his mother passed away washed his spots clean. And so, you know, he isn't considered as handsome as Princelle, who has many of the ideals of that pale pinkness, white fur, which is kind of the ideal of the tribe, for the Rosewaters at least. But we'll say Earl T, some nichelings pity him because you can't really see his spots. He's accepted because he does have spots, but some nichelings think that he's a very tragically poetic figure who has all of these washed out spots from losing his mother so early as he was born. Oh, that's so tragic. And we unlocked something, apparently. What did we unlock? Fertility! We now have normal fertility. Wonderful. Alright, so Earl T, welcome to the family. I am so sorry about the tragedy of your mother. And we also lost Hazelnut. And now Hazelnut has passed on. Things are about to get very interesting right here, my friends. Very interesting indeed. So, first things first, I believe Coco in her grief, she can't get close to the other nichelings is the problem. And as long as the nest is within 2 tiles of the tree, it's okay. So let's see. Lordon? We're gonna go ahead and have you move. Yeah, we'll have Lordon move. He's going to start clearing. I think he's very upset that his mother has passed on to you. And he's a little aggressive, I think. He'll come over and he'll kind of confront this stranger, like, what are you doing here, to Marsh. And we'll have Coco come to this side. She needs to be within 2 tiles of the tree. Come to this side, and Marsh will jump over, eager to see, like, what has happened here? Who are you? And let's see, Kron, I think, would be quite distressed, but also have to take care of his children. So he would be very busy handling that. Let's just destroy that nest. Princelle is gonna come over and be with his... He's gonna come over and be with his older brother, kind of like for protection from this stranger. And Raisin, I think, is gonna like hide in the grasses with her brothers because they're all startled by this stranger. And now, Coco, you, both in your grief and also knowing that life is so brief, you only have so long to live. Let's see what we want to give her for traits to potentially pass on. I think, let's see, he has antler recessive, so they very well may end up having an antlered child. If Marsh could pass anything on, I kind of feel like he would pass on Nimble Fingers for clearing away the grasses better, because he really believes in that. And I think that he would pass on a different color eye, possibly, because he's really about like far seeing, or maybe like a different color horn, because they're probably going to have a child that has a different color horn. He already has normal fertility, but he's really about, if I had to pick something that Marsh in particular is really about, I would say it's clearing those grasses away. So we'll give him Nimble Fingers to possibly pass on, which is good because it also has cracking. And then we'll also go ahead and give him maybe green eyes. She has green eyes already. Let's give him something fun. Big pattern, huge pattern, maybe a different type of pattern. Maybe a different color pattern. Let's give him, he has what pattern shape? B. Let's give him pattern shape D. Just for giggles. And meanwhile with Coco, she does not have long to live. And I think that she would want to pass on. She has white and red pattern overlapping to make that pink. And that's very pretty in their tribe. And she has got white fur to pass on for sure. I think that she would want to pass on like white horns maybe for her children. And she already kind of has a bunch of useful genes. So I think she would want to pass on maybe violet eyes to be remembered by. So all right, they're going to have a little bit of a whirlwind romance. And we'll go ahead and let Coco, she has fallen in love. She is the princess of the tribe after all. She will get herself right there. Marsh will have sniffed out these berries that he will collect to offer to his mate. I think because she'll pass away soon, I think after, he's still part of the main cookie tribe. And after, you know, she passes away, he might leave in his grief. But we have got that started. And Cyan, I think, having had Marsh show up, will start realizing the world is bigger than all his stuffy Rosewater siblings. All right, who got a parasite? Oh, that's actually pretty bad for you, Cream. You don't have any other nichelings anywhere with you. We might have Cream start looking for other nichelings. She might come visit. I bet the Wanderers can occasionally visit a tribe and just keep moving. And meanwhile, we have now lost Hazelnut. And so I think that Macadamia and Sugardrop always knew that this time would come. They smell decent to each other. They're pretty ambivalent. Not really, it's not a whirlwind romance, but they're willing to do their part to keep the cookie trees going. So what genes would I want them to pass on? They're both going to pass on, ooh, what? Where did you get recessive bird beak? And spiky body. Oh, your mom. I forgot. Ha! That would be hilarious if we ended up with a bird beak baby. Oh my gosh. But if that's the case, Macadamia is actually going to pass on Nimble Fingers. And we'll go ahead and let Sugardrop possibly pass on Nimble Fingers as well. So that we have to be able to crack open these nuts. That's like required. And then we're also going to pass on some different colors, I think. Macadamia in particular is fascinated by berries, and we'll actually talk about why probably next time, because that's going to be a big thing. But right now he's going to be distracted sort of formally. I mean, he's not particularly, it's not a romantic attraction, not even a physical attraction. Sugardrop might have a little bit of a like, well, I think you're pretty cute sort of feeling, but you know, there's just something about Macadamia where he's just never found her or any of the others that appealing for some reason. And yet he's a patriarch. He will do what he needs to pass on this line. We're gonna let Sugardrop go ahead and maybe have beige or chestnut brown fur. Let's go with, or actually let's try to get brown pattern. That would be fantastic. And Macadamia will try to go with, maybe beige fur? Let's go with beige fur for Macadamia's children. And we'll see how that plays out. All right, pardon. Okay, a little awkward. They took a moment to kind of figure everything out, but that's all right. They've got the lineage of the line continued on. And over here, we shall actually call back Banana and Walnut, who are going to be shocked to have found out that the patriarch of the tribe passed away so soon, and they are returning to the side. These are the only 4 current members of the main cookie line. How did that go down so fast? Holy cow. Marsh will come back, most like, but he's distracted by romance right now. And Anzac, you need to move it, buddy, if you're gonna get up here in time. Blondie's all comfortable. She's made herself quite cozy under this tree. Now she just needs a mate to show up. So we're gonna try to get Anzac over there and hurry up on that. But here we go, guys. Our princess Coco is now all set up and ready to have a child of her own. Earl T has been born with his mark of tragedy, missing his mother has washed out his spot so early on, and I am loving seeing where our little cookie tribe is going. So if you guys could, do please leave a like to leave a nut for little Earl T, who has had such a tragic beginning. Let me know in the comments who your favorite nicheling is. I kind of love taking things just a pinch slower this time, because it really gives us time to appreciate the stories and the personalities and the role play that kind of writes itself. But we will get a move on once the tribe becomes a bit bigger and we clear the grass and we start jumping islands. So don't worry, this is a peaceful island, but in other cases we might have to defend the cookie tree from the cookie monsters, who shall be the Berina, of course, and see when all the wanderers come in, because eventually we may have maybe like a singing group of nichelings who just sit and sing all the time on tree trunks, even if it attracts a ton of wanderers or attracts a ton of Berina. That would be really cool too. So we'll have all of that happen in the future as well. But I hope you guys are enjoying. Do please leave a like to leave a nut for Earl T. And if you have not yet subscribed, do please consider doing so to join our nicheling pantheon. And I shall see you guys next time. Bye-bye.